Welcome back to the Foundry by Forge College. All right, let's get right into it. In our previous lesson, we were out there in the wild, rolling up our sleeves with live vulnerability detection and triage. You found the bugs, you triaged them, you labeled their severity. But today, we're transitioning from that thrilling live bug hunt to drafting a meticulous, rock-solid engineering blueprint for actually fixing those vulnerabilities. Because let's face the harsh reality of smart contract security for a second. Finding a bug? Well, that's really only half the battle. If your audit report just says, hey, it's broken, without giving a clear, actionable treatment plan, you're not actually helping. In fact, you're probably just going to make the developers cry. And we definitely don't want crying developers. We want to be trusted security partners who bring actual solutions to the table, not just problems.
So to completely avoid that classic auditor-developer feud, we are going to treat your report like a literal architectural schematic. We'll be moving through these 6 structural steps: gathering your raw materials, structuring the executive summary, the blueprint of a finding, crafting actionable steps, prioritizing the action plan, and finally, the final quality inspection.
Step 1, gathering your raw materials. Look, before you even write a single word of your report, you've got to set up a totally clean working directory. Your audit plan, your evidence checklist, and those initial debug reports must be housed perfectly into these specific organized folders: executive summary, findings, recommendations, and appendices. Honestly, think of the appendices as this secure, dark green steel vault for your proof of concepts and raw logs. Getting all this organized right now prevents massive, massive headaches later on. Step 2. Structuring the executive summary. Now, you might be wondering why this part is so tricky. Well, it's because it's aimed at both technical and non-technical stakeholders. It has to be incredibly concise. You're summarizing the scope and the high-level risk posture of the project. But most importantly, you should highlight only the top 3 immediate remediation actions. Don't overwhelm them on page 1. Just give the leadership team exactly what they need to know to stop the bleeding immediately. Step 3, the blueprint of a finding.
Okay, this is absolutely crucial. Every single finding has to follow this exact anatomy: title, ID, severity, confidence, impact, reproduction steps, evidence, and recommendation. This acts as the structural legend of your blueprint. If you skip even one of these fields, something is going to get lost in translation for sure. And developers are just left guessing what you meant.
The foundational role pulling this whole shebang together: traceability. When you look at your report, I want you to picture dark green dotted lines connecting every single claim you make directly back to concrete evidence. We're talking specific file names, exact transaction hashes, failing tests, or logs. If a stakeholder asks, wait, why do we need to fix this? Your report should instantly point them to the exact line of code in the exact exploit. Literally no guesswork allowed.
Step 4, crafting actionable secs.
We really want to be the peacemakers here. A vague note like "fix the reentrancy" is just frustrating. Actually, scratch that. It's worse than frustrating. It helps literally no one. Instead, you need to provide explicit testable guidance. Something like add non-reentrant modifier and write a unit test asserting the balance reverts. That right there is exactly how you turn a good audit into a truly great one.
So break down the recommended fix into concrete developer tasks. Step 1, the specific code change. Step 2, the unit test to add. Step 3, integration tests to run. And Step 4, deployment time flags to observe. You should even include pseudo commands like npx hard hat test so the engineering team knows exactly how to validate the remedy. Don't just tell them what to build. Hand them the exact tools to verify that it's built correctly.
Step 5, prioritizing the action plan. Because not all structural cracks pose the exact same threat, right? You've got to use a prioritization matrix like this to sort your fixes by load-bearing risk. P0, that's immediate risk. Fix it right now. P1 means it's high probability or impact, so you need to schedule that fix in the next sprint. P2 means it can be deferred, sure, but you really should add compensating controls or monitoring in the meantime. This ensures engineering teams know exactly what to tackle before the whole protocol collapses under its own weight. And Step 6, the final quality inspection. Before you hand anything over for your capstone submission, use this acceptance criteria table to self-test and peer review your draft. Think of it as your absolute pre-flight checklist. You are checking evidence mapping, severity and confidence, recommendation actionability, and prioritization validity. All of these must-have criteria need a passing grade to ensure traceability, actionability, and accurate prioritization. If you get a fail on any of these, you go right back to the drafting board. And here is a fantastic golden rule to apply during that self-test: the 20-minute rule. Seriously, if it takes a reviewer longer than 20 minutes to reproduce a finding using only the evidence pointers in your report, you need to rewrite your instructions. Your reproduction steps must be crystal clear, instantly executable, and above all, they need to respect the developer's time. So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. Will your audit just gather dust on some virtual shelf somewhere? Or is it going to be the meticulously crafted blueprint that actually secures the protocol? A beautifully structured report is exactly what turns an auditor from a pest into a trusted, essential partner. So go finalize those capstone drafts, and remember to visit forge.college to dive even deeper into this subject and continue mastering all things Web3 security. Happy building, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.